Hi everybody. As promised, I'm going to be doing videos. Do a little series on the categories of verbal abuse. There's 15 of them. Um, Tonight I'm starting with withholding, category number one of verbal abuse. Um, and I thought my wallpaper here is very fitting for the first two categories of verbal abuse. And oh, before I go any further, I want to apologize for the hazy appearance on my videos. When I use my laptop to film, there's scratches or something on the camera. I share this laptop with my kids, and it's not a new laptop, so it's been roughed around quite a bit, and I'm hoping to get a new one soon. But until then, I have to keep using this laptop with a effed up camera. So please be patient. Okay, category number one of verbal abuse, withholding. Oh, and again, let me repeat, this is from the book, The Verbally Abusive Relationship by Patricia Evans. Withholding, a relationship requires intimacy. She says intimacy requires empathy. To hear and understand another's feelings and experience is empathetic comprehension. The intimacy of a relationship cannot be achieved if one party is unwilling to share himself and is unable to support his partner in an empathetic way. Although two people may not always understand each other or may have difficulty expressing their feelings, the intention to understand is there if both parties can say, for example, "Is this what you mean?" or "Is this how you feel?" One person cannot create intimacy in a relationship. The abuser who refuses to listen to his partner, denies her experience, and refuses to share himself with her is violating the primary agreement of a relationship. He is withholding. Withholding speaks as loudly as words and is a category of verbal abuse. Simply put, withholding is a choice to keep virtually all one's thoughts, feelings, hopes, and dreams to oneself and to remain silent and aloof toward one's partner, to reveal as little as possible, and to maintain an attitude of cool indifference. A confirmed verbal abuser may go months or years without attempting to engage his partner and without empathetically responding to her. So it is a two-way thing, withholding. It's not just that the abuser is refusing to talk about his feelings or share his personal innermost thoughts and feelings and fears with his spouse. It's also, and I guess the same could be true. It can be present in a parent-child relationship, or with siblings or whoever the narcissistic abuser is in your life. This behavior is likely present, and it's that they are so extremely guarded, and they have this mindset that everyone's out to get them. So it's sort of like they're thinking they're going to get you first. They're going to get everybody else first before everybody gets them. They can't understand that people can just exist together and share with one another and just be nice. They they think that like everyone's out to get them, so they got to put this guard up. They can't let you see who they really are, and it could be some hang up they have. It could just be just plain fear, that or a fear of inadequacy. who knows what's going on in those heads of theirs. But if you've got a lot of withholding going on in a relationship, especially in a marital relationship, it's not going to work. Like she said, one person cannot create intimacy in a relationship, and a lot of us victims kid ourselves into thinking that we can fix it. We can fix this person. Our love is going to make this person open up and blossom into the person they were meant to be. And we can't. We can't fix them because they don't want to be fixed, because they think everyone else thinks the way that they do. So they think how their mind works, how their thought process works, how they interact with other people. They think that's perfectly okay because everybody else is doing the same thing. They don't get that they don't get it. In my own marriage, I can say the biggest way that my narcissist withheld from me was more how he responded to me when I was sharing. There was a definite lack of an empathetic response. He would share with me intermittently, not always. Sometimes I got that cool, aloof indifference. He would just kind of go off and do his own thing, and I would just be doing my own thing. And it was almost like we were just like roommates living in the same house. And then, of course, then we had 2 kids. And so then it was, we shared kids, we shared a house, but it wasn't like we were joined together. Like, if he had something on his mind, if he had something stressing him out that he wanted to talk it out, he would talk. I would say, I always call it talking at me. He basically just wanted a warm body, an audience, to just be there for him to talk at and to nod and yes and agree with him basically. But if I tried to like interject a comment or ask a question, like just an innocent question asking for some sort of clarification, which in my opinion, when you're having a conversation with someone, and especially when you're expressing some sort of anxiety you're having, or discussing a really deep issue that's concerning you, and the other person kind of interjects and asks a question for clarification, that shows me that they're really listening to what I'm saying. And the fact that they're asking for clarification pretty much tells me that they're taking an interest in what I'm saying. They're not just sitting there smiling and nodding and letting it go in one ear and out the other. But he would take it as, like, if I kind of interjected a question for clarification on something he said, he took it as an attack, like I was challenging him or I was interrupting him. And he would just fume. I mean, have a fit that I interrupted him. And I mean, just like lash out at me, even in front of, like, even if other people were there, if friends were there. He did it before in front of he didn't dare do that in front of my family, but he did it in front of his family before. You do not interrupt him when he's talking. Now, on the other side of the coin, when I would be trying to share something with him, a concern I was having, a worry I had, or even if I just wanted to discuss some sort of current event or topic, that I had seen on the news or heard about, he would often like act like he was aggravated, like he didn't feel like listening to me. I actually, at some point in the marriage, started to believe that he actually had some sort of weird aversion to the sound of my voice. Because every time I would try to tell him about an experience I had or an opinion I had about something, just something interesting I wanted to talk about, he would, do the hand motion, like hurry up, move it along. Sometimes he would outright say it. Can you move it along, please? Hurry up. Sometimes I would get the hand. He would give me the hand and say, I don't feel like hearing about this right now. And generally just letting me know that he was not interested in anything I had to talk about. And so as the marriage went on, I started sharing less and less. So then I started withholding. I started basically, just that was my coping strategy in dealing with him being insulting, and also too, when he would do that, when I would share something, sometimes also then other categories of verbal abuse would come in too, where I would express a concern about something, whether it was something with the house, something with the kids, something with our finances, and he would discount me or trivialize the concern that I had, and basically he just didn't feel like listening to me talk about grown up things is basically what it boils down to. I've always found with the narcissist, and I will repeat this ad nauseum, with the narcissist, usually the simplest explanation is the right one. And basically, when he would shut me down when I was trying to talk, it was just basically, he just didn't feel like hearing about grown-up stuff because he does not want to be a grown-up. He wanted and still wants to be a teenager for the rest of his life. He is so stuck in his teenage years, and yet teenage years and early adulthood, like early 20s, it is a fun time of life. High school, college, when they say it's the best time of your life, it is, because you've got enough independence where you can go off on your own with your friends and have some freedom and independence, and you're kind of figuring out the world around you, and it's a fun time because you don't have any real responsibilities. You may have a part-time job, you may have a car you got to pay for, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, you really don't have any real responsibilities weighing down on you, other than school. So it is a fun time, and he got so stuck in that mindset, he refused to move on. And so that's the simplest explanation I could think of for his withholding, is when I would try to talk to him about something and engage him in an adult conversation, it just brought him back down to reality too quickly and abruptly, and he did not want to deal with being an adult. He hates it. And I think he hated me at those times when I would try to bring him into it. Miss Evans goes on to talk about the three kinds of communication in an intimate relationship. You have to have all three kinds. The types of communication are functional, which is basically just basic things. Please leave my mail here. The light is broken. I'll be home late tonight. Do you need some help with that? Where's my hammer? These are some examples she gives. Then there's communication that engages another. I was thinking. Did you ever wonder? How did you like that? What would you like to be doing a year from now? What do you think about XYZ? And then the third type of communication is communication that responds to another. Yes, I understand. That's interesting. Oh, I see what you mean. I hadn't thought of that. So, basically, I think what was going on in my marriage was we had functional conversation. Um, what time is dinner going to be ready? What's for dinner? Um, car's almost out of gas. Um, this and that bill is coming due. Um, so we have to, save up for that. We had functional conversation, but, and I would say we had, you know, we didn't totally lack engaging communication. Because, like I said, he was willing to share some things with me, like when something was bothering him. He didn't want me to necessarily give my opinion or honestly respond to it. He just wanted to talk at me, but he would share some with me. The biggest problem in my experience was that I wasn't being allowed to share. Like, I was a lot of the time just being shut down, especially if I had an issue with something he did or something he said that hurt me, or anytime I had an opinion different from him, he would just shut me down, basically interrupt me, insult me. So he basically just would not try to see my point of view of things. So I just kind of quit sharing after a while because I got so sick of being insulted and put down and told that I was wrong about everything. So that's withholding. If anybody has any comments, leave them down below, please. I'm interested to hear other people's thoughts if anyone at all is listening to this. If you are listening, thank you very much for doing so. Have a good night.